Welcome to Sounds of Sud. I'm your host, Jasmine. This podcast is for all the music lovers and anyone that wants to learn more about working in the music industry. Bringing you interesting insights and wild stories from DJs to festival organisers, we talk to all of the people behind the scenes that make the magic happen. So make sure to hit subscribe and I'll see you on the dance floor. Welcome, Daniel Tonik, to Sounds of Sud, the podcast. How are you doing?
Good today, good. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for coming over. You guys live in
Western Sydney, so Thames and Ways.
Yeah, well, very much appreciate you coming all the way over here. Thank God the rain has stopped.
It's not a problem at all. It's good.
Yeah.
Good to support the scene.
Yeah. So how long have you been DJing for?
Oh, geez. That's a good question. See, I forget now. No, I started when I was 13 years old. It was something I did in school just to muck around with. My dad was a DJ back in the 80s and the 90s, and it just flowed onto me.
From Sydney? You're all from Sydney?
You're from Sydney based, yeah. So started off in school, was mucking around with that. Hated school, and all I wanted to do was just play music. So it was always after school, mucking around on the decks. My dad had the turntables, so I would always muck around with those. Did probably, I think it was around maybe 08, 09. So I was around about 13 years old, and then, just stuck at it. It was a bit of fun, and once I turned 18, I got into the club scene, and still here now.
Yeah, wow. And do you have a day job, or you're in music full time?
Yeah, I'm in construction during the week, so it keeps me a little bit humble. It's good. I've got to have that live the high life on the weekends and then come back down to earth during the week,
Well, I'd say we're on episode, I think this will be 33, potentially 34.
Mm-hmm.
I would say a very small percentage of people that I've talked to have been doing it full time.
Yeah.
Not many, at all. Even that Mixed Method, she's a full-time ICU nurse on top of DJing, which is, I was so shocked when she told me that the first time. So yeah, humble, or it's just pretty normal. I think
it's normal, especially in Australia. It's a big scene, but it's a small scene compared to, the rest of the world. So
yeah, and there's only a few major players, right?
Exactly
that can
right.
afford to do it, because financially there's so many stuff getting cancelled. There's obviously, I think it's like the you do it for the lifestyle. I don't believe that there's money in it.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
For anyone, really, unless you're a super famous, which is obviously a small percentage of people, which we can all aim for.
No, exactly right. I always said, if you're doing it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You've got to have some sort of love for it. It's got to be a passion. That's always been my motivation, Money will come and go, but this is something I'm passionate about. So I never really worried about doing it full time or, have to work a second job. It was never an issue.
Yeah, I think it would be nice to not work another job
100%, yeah.
full time.
Yeah.
That would be nice. But then also, it's nice to have a bit of structure and normality, because I do think it's a very if I personally, for me, if I was in the music industry full time, I think I'd be at risk of partying too much.
Yeah, and it's very easy to get lost in the party.
100%.
It's so available. There's just the high intensity of the actual industry, and being out in the clubs on the weekends and events and festivals, and it's such a fast-paced industry that it's very easy to get lost in the party. So,
yeah. Very easy to get caught up on it. Even such a sunrise once a month or whenever that happens. I specifically make a habit of only going to that twice a year.
Yeah.
Because I can't be going out. I can't be out till middle of the afternoon on a Sunday and then get up and go to work.
No, exactly right.
You do it a couple of times a year. Everyone's tired.
You have to allow yourself to have a good time. It's a bit of balance.
Yeah, but that's that. I love going there, and I could go there every weekend. But I know for my own mental state, I'm no good. I actually can't remember how we got in touch. Do you remember when we actually got?
I think it was around just after the Defected announcement.
Yeah.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Because I was I've had so many people on. It would be so cool to have everyone there to say that all of the supports I've actually been able to speak to.
That's cool. It's a good little milestone.
Yeah. I was oh, that's cool, because it was 4 or 5. Callie's on there. I don't know if Mixed Methods is on there this year.
She is, yeah.
Yeah, she's on.
Actually, yeah, she is.
Is House of Loki on there?
Loki, yeah, she's on there. Not Bingo, I don't think. Maybe.
I don't know why I said Callie. Callie hasn't been on, but maybe that was a spoiler alert there.
Secret. Bella's on.
Yeah. So many names happening. This is cool. So
all the Defected artists.
Yeah. So how did that come about?
It was pretty surprising, to be honest. I did not expect that I would be in the sites for Defected, because my music style isn't purely house. I've varied between the house and the techno, mostly melodic and the Afro house. I did not expect the booking. So Sophia Paps from One Hit, she messaged me. She loved everything that I was doing with my own brands, my two event brands, and obviously the music. And she wanted to get me involved. And like I said, I was super shocked, but extremely grateful for it. I mean,
Oh yeah,
it was when I got the notification. Well, when Sophia messaged me about it, I was just like so excited. I couldn't contain it. Like, I think she asked me a few months before the actual announcement. So I'm like, oh, who do I tell? I've got to release this. I want to tell people about it. I was super excited. Like, Defected, probably one of my favorite record labels.
Were you allowed to tell anyone, or was it more like?
I told my friends and whatnot. I obviously couldn't put anything on
social media.
Yeah. But I was sort of waiting for that, let's just keep it hush for a little while and then bang, throw it up on social media. Here's the flyer. And so
they called it, like, was it a call or message just come out of nowhere kind of thing?
She messaged me on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I noticed that we've been following each other for a while. I've known Sophia for a few years now. So we've always been acquainted in the industry. And I noticed the last few months they've just been a lot more active with my stuff. So I'm like, okay, so she's probably watching for something. And then the booking came through. And so, like I said, extremely grateful, completely unexpected, but
talk about that. But that made your day.
It's made my year. So that sort of
that's so
sort nice. Of from then, like, everything's sort of been amazing from that. It's like, I'm seeing the industry from a very different angle. Like, the Defected bookings been coming through. I've been starting to get like sub headline and headline sets in Sydney. So it's like, everything is got in a bit of a nice flow at the moment. So
it gives you good confidence
100%
as well.
Exactly right, yeah.
And where's your favorite venue to play?
It used to be Chinese Laundry back in the day. It always has a soft spot in my heart.
So when's the last time you played there?
It's a good question. I remember I played the closing set, and it was maybe around about 2018, 2019.
Okay, so just before COVID.
I remember Frankie was still running the bookings at the venue.
I project managed the reopening of Chinese Laundry, which again is in my massive list content backlog of something to post about.
Yeah.
But Frankie came down to support with the opening because she knew the door and she could do it like the back of her hand or whatever. So I got to know her a little bit through that week. She was really cool.
Yeah.
And the girl's doing an awesome job, like, with the bookings, and he's really, like, he's the guy for the job. He knows everyone and connected. So I'll put in a good word for you if you like, if you want to if you want to go back there.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, I spent so many of my weekends there. Growing up, it was sort of like my coming of age venue, between that and Candies when I was younger. And then playing there, still to this day, I don't think there's been a venue that really has my soul.
I haven't been there too much, but it's such a good venue. I love all the little rabbit warrens and, the little hidey holes, and you can kind of just end up on the other side of the venue and not really understand how.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. I've played some of my biggest support slots were always at Chinese Laundry. My favorite of all time was Camel Fat. Was warming up for them, and at the time I don't think anyone realized how big they were going to be. And I think it was just after Listen Out after party. So that was amazing.
I first saw Camel Fat at the festival at Olympic Park. It's not on anymore. Festival X. It used to be Stereosonic, then it was Festival
X. Yeah.
I saw them there the year before we went into lockdown.
2019, I believe it was. Yeah.
And there's in this like Coliseum kind of type.
That's right. Yeah, they played the closing set that night. That was amazing.
Yeah, were you there? That's fun. It's weird, isn't it? All these moments, like, might have walked past each other, or whatever. But yeah, I was there too. It was awesome. It was so good. Cool. So, anything else you want to touch on the Defected? Like, what happens? Do they request anything from you in the lead up, or is it just turn up and play? Brief?
Obviously to, just the standard thing, promote and push it on the socials, which we have been. I think I've noticed a trend of who's on the lineup in the support slots. There seems to be the Sydney siders that are pushing their own sort of boutique brands as well. So I know that there's Tommy Tracks doing his House of Tracks thing.
Oh, how can I forget Tommy? Oh, I feel so bad. Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah.
I know he's doing some really amazing stuff with his House of Tracks stuff, and
he's so cute. He's such a nice person.
Top bloke. And everyone's just been. I feel like the support lineup is really just the people that are really pushing their own little thing as well, doing the most with what we can in Sydney. So
yeah, that makes sense. That's probably a good way to look at it.
Yeah, I think.
And then is there a brief, or is it just like go wild?
I think it's go wild. Yeah. Oh. I'm waiting for the set time, so then I can obviously curate the set
based on that
to the set time. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not going to play a melodic set at Defected.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of teeing up. Do I do an Afro house set, or am I going to do something a bit more classic house? wherever.
Oh, say there's all of you guys that all kind of know each other or whatever. How do they? I've always wondered this with events in general, but like with something quite specific with Defected that's got quite a specific kind of. Or sorry, let me rewind on that. Until I went to Defected in Croatia, I thought that Defected had a very specific house kind of chart, housey brand. Defected in Croatia had so much variety from like melodic all the way to like quite heavy stuff in the middle of the night. They even had UKG there. I was really shocked. So kind of probably my question's redundant a little bit. But how do you, just in general in all sets, like how does music not get repeated? Like, you know, if I'm there as a punter, how do I know that you're not going to play, like all five of you aren't going to play like time after time, for example? Like,
I think it's sort of like maybe an unspoken rule. You know, we're probably being on the support lineup, we're not going to touch the standard Defected tracks. You know, they're going to be your main stage, your main act stuff. I think to stand out as a DJ in Sydney, you have to be doing something so different from everyone else. And I feel like everyone tries really hard, especially at that level of getting on the Defected stage. Everyone's going to be delivering a sort of set that's not going to be the same.
So you're going to go everyone's going to go for quite a unique spin.
I think everyone's going to have a Defected flavor, but within their own unique styles. So that's how I've sort of looked at it coming into with my sort of set prep. So
yeah, because it's interesting though, because like you're not all going to be there listening to each other's sets, even the other Defected artists like all day long. But I would love to know. There's probably no way to ever find out like how many times a certain song is played through. For example, in that day, is there any songs that get played more than once? And if so, like how, do you know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
You're never going to have eyes on the whole event at all times, but I think it'd be quite interesting. Like if you could,
I feel like if it's a song that's getting played more than once, it's going to be one of those songs that nobody cares if they hear it more than once. You know, if it's nice, play it twice sort of thing. Yeah.
My friend, Dan has a t-shirt with that on backwards. I love it. Through the brief start of this chat, it seems like you've been around for a while. Do you mind me asking how old you are?
I'm 29 years old.
Oh, wow. So you've been like, it feels like you've achieved a lot. Like,
yeah, I think because, like I said, it's when I came out of school, I wasn't really into school. I was always into music. And I think just really putting myself in the industry from such a young age and just sort of devoting myself to it, I've managed to sort of like, it's hard to explain. I've sort of like dedicated my life to it. I don't really have a plan B. I mean, like I said, I work in construction, whatever. That's for me, like my side job. This is my main thing.
Yeah.
And when I say this is my plan A, I don't really have a plan B sort of thing. And I've just tried to make as many opportunities for myself possible. And that meant a lot of networking and a lot of, you know, time in clubs, meeting different people and getting my name out there as much as possible. So
it's nice that you've actually been able to have clarity on what a plan A is from such a young age.
Yeah.
Like for me, like I'm a bit older than you, I'm 31, only 2 years ago. So only at the age you are now, did I actually have complete clarity of where I wanted to get to in my career. So like, in my opinion, you've had like such a head start, you know? It's kind of like, it's kind of cool that you've been able to do that. But then on the contrary, like, I'm glad that I've had so much time and experience doing other things to really be even more clearer of what I want to get to and have the kind of experience of different industries.
Part of growth. Everyone's on their own line, you know.
But now I would say I'm similar. I don't really have a plan B. I'm very focused on getting to where I want to get to.
I always said if you have a plan B, it's sort of like you're planning to fail plan A, and I don't really like to, you know, why have a plan B if you really focus on plan A? Yeah,
that's funny. I'm a project manager, so we tend to have a lot of plan Bs. Otherwise shit will hit the fan and then it'll be my fault. But yeah, on a personal level, absolutely. And then who would you say you've had relationships with on the Sydney scene for like the longest? Who's some of your like key contacts?
Well, it's a funny scene because it's a seasonal thing. So I've had relationships with people from one of my first relationships, I'd say Troy T, out in Parramatta. He runs Sound Agents and he's part of Glass Island and he's running most of the Sydney scene, especially in the commercial and the R&B scene. He gave me my first break when I was in schools playing under 18s events out in Western Sydney. And so we've had a relationship the longest, I'd say. I did some work as an event manager for him a few years ago, and then we'll sort of go our separate ways for a few years and then reconnect a few years later. We've only recently reconnected because, you know, everything sort of lines up. So Troy T's been around for a little while. It's been mostly other DJs that we sort of all came up at around the same time. So there's the J Sounds, Hijacked. We sort of all grew up around the same area and then started off around the same time, 14, 15 years old, sort of getting our names out there. And we sort of maintained a relationship since. And, you know,
I don't know Jay Sounds, but I follow him on Instagram. He does Change We
Need on Glass Island, yeah. So him and I sort of were coming up around the same time, or sort of around the same age. And we, you know, like I said, it's a seasonal thing. You know, I was out doing my thing, he was out doing his thing. And then maybe the last 2 years we've reconnected and we're doing a lot of stuff together. You know, he's been booking me for his events, and I've just recently signed to his label as well. So,
oh, is that common knowledge?
Yeah, I just announced the thing last week.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you.
Exciting.
So yeah, I've got a new track coming out next month.
Have you got tracks out already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is my debut on his label. So
okay,
it's sort of like a full circle moment because we all started off as so young, and you know we've all got each other's back. So it's just really nice to see that.
And where is that going to be out? Like Spotify?
Yeah. So it's going to be out all platforms.
All platforms. And what's the process like of doing all of that?
So he's had his label for a little while, and he's always been in my ears like, when are you going to give me a track? When are you going to give me a track? And it's a little indie label that he pushes whenever he can because he's so busy with his events and his own music stuff.
Is he in it full time?
I think so, yeah. He's in it full time, yeah. So I know he does a lot of production work, and he's got his studio set up, and he works with a lot of artists in Sydney and beyond. So he's got the work banked up for him, and he's so super talented.
Sounds like someone I might need to speak to.
So yeah, he's definitely doing it full time. He's very selective who he gets on his label. He's not just gonna sign anyone. He said to me the whole thing was he's looking for artists that are actually pushing a career as well. You know, active on social media, willing to put in the work because it costs money to release. So by him investing in someone, he knows that it's someone that's actually going to do the work as well. So he was always on my back. When are you going to give me something? When are you going to give me something? And I so had something, and I was like, hey, what do you reckon about this? And it just happened so quick. He's like, yeah, let's do it. And
in regards to you said there's costs to release, and again, like if at any time that's like I'm asking questions it's not appropriate, I'll just cut it out. But if you're producing a song, like you produce that, I assume is your own cost. Mm-hmm. And then you send it to various labels to sign it, which I've kind of learned through doing various podcasts. What costs are there in regards to releasing?
You've got, pretty sure there's a cost to distribute. So you'll have to get, I'm not sure exactly the exact figures, but I know that to distribute it out to online stores, to get it onto Spotify and online streaming and basically all over Instagram and TikTok and whatnot, you have to go through a distributor. So that obviously costs. Different distributors cost different amounts. I've figured sometimes you can self-release and it's quite cheap, but doesn't get the best reach. Sometimes you're better off using actual distribution companies, and they're going to cost a bit more.
When you said, I understand the various ones like Spotify and whatnot, but when you said Instagram, is that so like when I post a story, I can find you in the music?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
So when people can search your tracks and then obviously add them to reels and stories, that's obviously through the distribution.
And that's such a good way for growth, right? Like you want to, I suppose everyone's aim is like go something viral on TikTok, because then it's like what it just grows and grows.
Yeah, exactly right. We tried something different with this release. So Jay put the track out on TikTok and reels on TikTok and Instagram about 2 weeks ago when we put it out on promo. And someone posted it on their story and tagged me. They were just tagging me from a photo from an event, and they put the song, and I messaged them like, bro, my track site on Instagram is like, we're doing something different. We're putting it out on Instagram and TikTok. So it's only a 30-second snippet. You can sort of start the G up, and then people can hear the track of 30 seconds and know what to expect when release is coming. So I've been able to add it to my stories. I've been able to add it to my reels, and it sort of feeds into people have an expectation of the song, and now they're going to get the full
yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, so I've never done it before, but it's a really cool concept.
Yeah, it's good. And that kind of goes back to what other people, I don't even know who now, I've spoken to so many people, were saying about how a lot of DJs will play unreleased tracks in each other's sets because it's different music that people haven't heard, so you're only sending it to your close friends.
Yeah.
And B, then the crowd is like, oh, what's that song? They want to hear it.
Exactly.
And they're more in touch with it when it does come out. It's all very smart, the kind of, I don't know, like psychology and marketing behind it all, and how to get people hooked on something.
Exactly. I always thought it was when I was young and naive, I thought it was just, make a song, release and forget, but there's much more behind it. The hard part, I always thought the hard part was making the music. No, the hardest part is releasing the music and then trying to get the music out there and further. That's a whole different ball game.
But that's literally like the exact same thing as this podcast, right? Like this is so easy. It's just we're having a chat and fucking a drink. It's easy. It's then like the editing is not that bad because I don't really cut anything out. I kind of just kind of let it go. But then you've got to slice and dice it in a way that's appealing to draw people in to want to listen to it. And then even when I finish a reel, then even the process of putting that onto Instagram and putting it onto Spotify when the reel is finished takes so much time.
Yeah,
copy the caption, tag people, add the location, add the hashtags, like all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like we were saying just before we came in, like it's full-time job in itself.
Exactly right.
And I'm also like, I'm not good at it. It's not my skill set, like I'm an organizer, not a content creator.
Right. Yeah. But it's something you eventually will learn, and you have to, like, unfortunately in this day and age, you got to be everything. It's not good enough to be just the creative. You have to be the marketing. You have to do the content. You have to be the editor. For me, I tried to teach myself everything because, number one, everything's expensive to outsource.
So expensive.
So just sort of teach myself as much as I could. And then eventually you just pick it up. And then you find your own flows, what works for you and what doesn't. So
yeah, it's funny, like with this, like again, as I said when we were before outside, like I'm at a point now where I want to start like investing some money into it, but it's expensive. And like it's like this for me right now, it's just like a very expensive hobby. So I'm not benefiting anything from it other than trying to like build a brand to hopefully one day like get some opportunities through it. But like you have to, it's like any kind of investment, right? Like people put, invest into stocks and shares and stuff. You're not going to see an instant
100%.
return. So I'm like just trying to build something for myself and see where it goes. And same with you, just got to kind of believe in the idea, believe in yourself and back yourself, I suppose, and just hope that it's not all a waste of time.
Well, at the end of the day, like I was saying before, if you're passionate about it, the money doesn't matter, Yeah. Sometimes, you end up spending a lot more money than you earn, but like I said, if you're passionate about it.
And I spend money on way worse things. So at least I'm trying.
Exactly.
At least I'm trying to do something with it. It's better than just pissing it out the toilet. And there's actually a chance of something coming from it. Whereas going boozing all night, like that's the end of that money. There's no chance of it going anywhere else. So at least there's a chance of it going somewhere.
And with what you're doing, you're making meaningful connections with people, which is good.
Yeah, so much. Like as I said to you before, like the whole reason was like wanting to really, eventually work in this industry. I've met so many people. Like now when I go out, I have so many more connections, and there's also gives you a bit of a purpose, like to talk to someone rather than just like trying to make small talk with someone.
Yeah.
Cool. So what has been, would you say, let's get some insight. So what was like the biggest thing you've learned or the biggest piece of advice you could give to someone? You've obviously been around in the industry for a while, but to new people just starting out, like, or trying to cut their teeth in it, what would you say?
The biggest lesson I sort of learned, I learned it the hard way. I was trying to be everything all at once, didn't know the direction I was going. This is a few years ago. Didn't know the direction I was going. I wanted to do a bit of this, wanted to do a bit of that. And I just was so overwhelmed with trying to get here that I actually wasn't focusing on what was happening right in front of me. And from that, I learned that, and I tell it to all the young DJs when they ask me for advice. I said, just stay true to yourself. Do whatever you want, whatever you feel is right, that is the best reflection of yourself. And so that's what I tell everyone, just stay true to yourself and everything else will flow.
So would that translate to doing things like not just taking gigs just for the sake of taking gigs if if the brand didn't align with like your values or?
Yeah, I think so. I've been pushing that sort of, that, what would you say, agenda, that sort of, that agenda much with heaps with the younger DJs because they're picking up everything and anything right now. And especially with they're happy to play for free and not do it just to get their name out, just to get bookings. And it's all good and well to be passionate, but I always tell the kids, don't sell yourself out just to get a gig, because if one door closes, there's going to be another there's going to be another door opening. There's always going to be another gig. So don't freak out if you turn that gig down, what's going to happen? There's always going to be another gig. So I've always been like, it's okay to say no to things.
It's interesting you say that because last weekend, the long weekend, Porrick and I, after that full spin at Chinese Laundry, somehow ended up at Sash breakfast at 8:00 in the morning. And we bumped into, he was just there chatting away to someone as usual. You obviously didn't get to meet him, but loves to chat, my boyfriend, more than me. And he was talking to this guy called Andy, who I'm not sure if he's the owner, but he does all the bookings for Abercrombie.
Mm-hmm.
And he was involved in your shot. And that was one of the biggest pieces of advice they said. They said, don't play for free. Because there's certain people out there, like not good people, just trying to fucking take advantage, basically. And they'll play on it, and they'll know that all the new Your Shot contestants just want to get out there and get experience, get on the lineup. And it's more of like a thing, not for you personally, but for the industry as a whole. Because if they're just going to constantly take advantage of the new people that want to play just for their own benefit, like it's going to have a knock-on effect on the whole industry.
I've noticed that I've seen a few people, once you set that standard that you're going to play for free just because you're happy to play for free, it's very hard to pull back out of that because you've now built up this reputation or this expectation. Try telling the person you've played for free, you know, hey, I want $100 an hour. They say, you'll play for free, you know. Yeah.
Where's this come from?
Exactly right.
Yeah. So you got to know your worth.
Exactly right.
So at the beginning, sorry, I feel like it was a bit chaotic when we came in here. Did you mention your dad was a musician? Or
yeah.
Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, my dad, good old Pop. He started off DJing in the 80s, 90s. He did pretty much everything from what I can recollect. It was R&B, hip hop, funk, acid house, which is cool. Like the gems I found in the records, I've put them aside in my own collection. I remember once a few years ago, I played a half vinyl set at an event. Maybe like.
Oh, you play vinyl?
I was back in the day when I was pushing it. Right now, I haven't played on vinyl in years. I don't know if I've still got it, but I don't like to say, I can play because it's been a while, but I'm sure if I jump back on it and I can pick it up again. But because my dad was always on vinyl, it's the first thing I sort of picked up.
It's a bit like a manual and an automatic car.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. I've noticed like it's a lot more, you're doing a lot of work there because it's not just you press the button and you line it up and it's good to go. Because being analog, there's a lot of variations. So you're constantly working, like, you know, sometimes the BPM's jumping out, the needle may lag or whatever. So you're always like constantly listening, make sure it's always in beat. It was fun. I remember that one gig, I think it was an All Friends gig way back in 2016. Can't remember.
Friends, is that Justin
Musket? Yeah, way back in the day. And I did a half vinyl set and I pulled out my dad's old records. There was a bit of nostalgia in there, so I played like 4 or 5 tracks just towards the end of the set, which was cool.
When you say half vinyl, what do you mean?
So I played like most of the set just on the CDJs. Like,
so you had both of them there?
Yeah, so they had the CD.
You had that in laundry a few years ago. We had a double set up. That's so cool.
I know one of the boys, Mitch Fowler, I think he was playing that one.
Yeah, because it's my day job, we had to get something built in construction to hold the decks and the vinyls and the CDJs in like one stand.
Yeah.
We built it as part of the build. So it's pretty cool. I haven't actually seen anyone do it, but it sounds like a cool concept.
I'm probably like everyone's been saying to get back into because it's a bit of a point of difference
100%.
now. But it's just, you know, trying to find the time to, you know, get back and practice. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I'd jump on the decks every day after school and I'd be DJing as often as I can. Now, like, once it becomes part of your life, you don't just have a jam session anymore. I mean, I don't. I prefer to sit in the studio and write music, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my dad started off with obviously on the turntables. That started me off. And yeah, I think he went right through to about 99. And then he kept all his equipment, which I inherited, which is sick.
My dad has a attic full of records home in England. First problem, he's in the wrong country. Second problem, I don't play it. And third problem, like Porrick does, but he plays on, you know, the newer stuff. It would be cool. I think it's like if someone just whacks on and can play the piano, it's pretty cool, right? If you're somewhere and they're doing that old school stuff. This is like you say, nostalgic.
Yeah, it is, of course. And especially playing records that you can't get anywhere. You can't get them on Beatport or online. So I think that's a massive point of difference. But yeah, no, that I want to get back into it. Just because I have a massive collection, it just sort of sits there, you know.
Exactly. And like you say, it's a point of difference, right? There's it is quite an oversaturated market. And don't get me wrong, I love music. I'm like, more the merrier. That's the whole point of music, is it's inclusive and there's a space for everyone. But, you know, when you're trying to make a career out of it and stuff like that.
You have to have a point of difference.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's fun. Like, it's especially now I've noticed that there's no real genres are a thing of the past. Like, DJs are playing whatever they want now, and it's so cool. I'm really like this whole deaf to the genre gatekeeping. So I've noticed, you know, I think I'm going to say probably started with Patrick Topping. You know, he started playing his sets. We always knew him as like this tech house DJ. And then all of a sudden he's playing techno, he's playing acid. He doesn't care what he plays. And it's sort of opened the door to all these major DJs not sort of being defined by genre.
It's really funny you say that, because Nagal, who does Chinese Laundry, like it used to be drum and bass on a Friday and whatever it was on a Saturday, and that's been abolished. Now it's the lineup is the lineup.
Perfect.
Any kind of electronic music
Love
is
that.
what goes. Yeah, and it's been like really successful, and you kind of know, you never know what you're going to get, but you know it's always going to be good.
That's the best part, because
about like exploring new music and stuff like that. You said something when you were talking then, but I forgot. What was it? Is your dad? And is your dad still around?
Yeah, dad's still around. Funny, he when I said I wanted to be a DJ, I said I want to start DJing. He's like, no way. So I think he's seen some shit in his time. So
Well, he didn't want you to.
No, he didn't want me to. He's like,
surprising.
over my dead body, you're going to be a DJ. So I think he's seen some shit in the day back in the, 80s and 90s. Who knows what was going on back in those days? But it was a bit of a push. But eventually he supported me. So
does he still play like at home, like for fun, or
here and there? He more so just kicks back on the couch and has the turntable set up, and he'll just listen to his records all day. He's happy to do that.
Yeah.
So we'll have a jam out every now and then. Like I'll get him on the decks, and he always says, "Oh, I'm a better DJ than you." I'm like, "Yeah, of course." So
yeah, you usually do.
I mean,
so
yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, so no, he doesn't really push it too much these days, but he's just an avid collector and a listener, I'd say. Yeah.
Nice. And then we mentioned something you said before about Justin Muscat. So how do you know him?
Justin and I have had a relationship. That's going back to having relationships in the industry. Justin and I have been, I'd say, industry mates for the longest of time. I can't even remember the first time I met him. I couldn't tell you, but we've known each other for, it feels like forever. And I'm always happy to see him. We've done a lot of stuff together. I've played countless All Friends events, and he's come out west to support my stuff, and
he's lovely.
He's just a gem. He's a perfect example of what the music industry should be.
Yeah.
In terms of people, and he's just such a nice bloke in the industry. And like I said, I can't even remember the first time I met him, but I've played countless events for him. I actually played an event for him 2 weeks ago. 3.
Oh wow.
At Bridge Hotel at
Not for such a.
No, there was the week before they did Captain Hook in the main room, and I got the call up. He was getting me to sub headline that event, and that was like I was speechless, because
Oh, that's so nice.
He got me in the courtyard, so I was doing the morning session, 9 a.m. to 3-hour set, 9 a.m. to 12, and it was most amazing.
I think I've seen a video.
Yeah, I only started posting the content the last week, and
yeah, I've wasn't really too familiar with the Bridge Hotel. Like my idea of it is just such a, but then you can go there and just go to a normal pub, which I find really fucking strange. Like it is actually you can go there in the week and think about that.
Probably one of the only venues that has that like 24-hour licensing that's actually pushing, the rave scene.
And it's so funny because it's next to a school.
Yeah, I remember one sutra. It was really weird. I was there one night, and then we stayed out all night. I was there in the morning, and all these kids are like, it was a Sunday. I don't know if it was like a Sunday school thing, and they're just like, they're watching us raving. I'm like, yeah, this is.
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe I was tripping out, but.
Maybe there was no kids.
Yeah, maybe there was no kids there, but I'm from memory, yeah. So
when I was there, I was looking out. I was like, thank fuck it's Sunday and not Monday anyway. Because that's not appropriate.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's a crazy venue, very insane venue.
And I saw a couple of weeks ago, again, it all blurs into one. You were playing with Bella at a party in Bondi.
Yes, that was so fun.
That is like I love parties like that.
It was so random. So I got hit up by a friend of a friend who I met in the industry. You just meet so many people. This particular person isn't really even in the scene. She's just, I think she's a punter. And she just sort of messaged me, hey, you available to play on this date? I'm like, yeah. And it was actually after the Bridge Hotel. So we made a massive day out of it. Started off at the Bridge, 9 a.m. Then we ended up at this house party in Bondi at, I think it was like 6:30 p.m.
So was it a last minute thing to go?
No, so they booked me maybe about a month or so prior. I had no idea what to expect.
You and Bella?
I didn't even know Bella was playing.
Oh.
I had no idea what was going on. So I was like, they asked, hey, what's your rates? I'm like, yeah, this is my rates. They're like, yeah, can we book you for an hour and a half set? I'm like, yeah, no worries. And no questions asked. Whatever, it's Bondi. I'm like, I could only imagine it'd be a house party. And then it was like 2 days before. I was like, hey, so what's the address? What's the go? Who's playing before me? And they said, Bella's playing before. I'm like, awesome. She's a legend. Bella and I only connected maybe the last few months. she's a massive supporter of me and my music. So, and likewise with her stuff, she's a legend in the scene. So, when I heard that she was on the house party with me, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a great night. So we were just having
you there?
a good old vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. I can see it. I was like,
This was her first experience to sort of like that side of the world, especially with the Bondi house parties. And
yeah, I went to a Bondi house party years ago with all my work friends, and I won't go into the details because I'll probably get arrested. But it was a good night. It was a memorable one. But yeah, anything like that next time, I was like, I want to come. I love music in a club, don't get me wrong, but I like going to new venues.
Yeah.
And I love going to like scenic places and unique experiences where like, you know, like where you can see the sunrise or like, you know, just, something different, something that's not going to happen again.
Exactly right.
That house is getting knocked down. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was getting knocked down. It was definitely getting knocked down after the party because I started, so Bella was actually playing outside and they did like a day session thing. And they were wrapping that up at around about 7:30, and then they were starting the inside session at night. So I started from 7:30, and they had it all. The house was all blocked off, so nobody was allowed inside. I went to set up, and it was in this tiny sort of living room. All of a sudden, 7:30 comes along, and 200 people just packed this room. And
that would have been such.
I had goosebumps. I started playing, and it was just instant vibes. The lasers were going off. The smoke machine was pumping. The room was actually moving up and down. So at one point I thought, we're not going to make it tonight. The house is actually going to demolish itself. The speakers were going back and forth, but it was just that energy, just the rawness.
People, like, were they kind of like backpackers? Or they like, what was the house?
From what I believe, it was, they were all mostly South American.
No,
so, you know, they know how to party. They throw good parties. And from what I believe, the owner of the house has a company within hospitality. I think it's bartending, and he was throwing a staff party. So I think he threw probably the best staff party in Sydney.
So that's controversial, considering my place of work.
And yeah, hey, do better. So yeah, and it was, like I said, did not know what to expect. And
was it just you and Bella, or was there other people?
So Bella played first. I played an hour and a half afterwards, and then there was a reggaeton DJ who played later on, which was like, I'm not really into like the R&B, hip hop, reggaeton scene, but that was such a vibe. Just this mad switch up in the music, and everyone was just losing it at that point. It was just
and you had a big night, I assume.
It was a Sunday, so I had work the next morning, but that didn't stop us. We weren't planning a big one. We said it was all BYO, so we brought a couple of drinks. And
that's the thing, when the vibe is good.
It was such a good vibe. It's just like the rawness of it. I just remember I blacked out during my set, and I was like, I thought I got spiked, but then I realized we drank a bottle of soju, and you never have a good time on soju. You just blank.
Oh, so how was the second half of the set?
Oh, it was perfect. Trust me.
Yeah,
it was perfect. Yeah. No, I know that I just
held it together.
I wasn't on a level, but I don't remember, like the videos I was watching, I'm like, I don't remember playing this, I don't remember playing that. I think maybe I was just having just an awesome experience, just the energy in the room. I was just sort of like elevated, I guess.
That would have been a cool one for a live stream, that kind of event.
Yeah, a bit red hot.
Yeah, a bit red hot. Place might have been there.
Yeah, but I was surprised how, like, you know, it was still like, you know, no complaints. The party went on, and yeah, I don't know. I think we left at like midnight or something. Yeah, I think midnight, and it's like, you know, we had work the next morning, but like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's okay. As we said, you can do it every now and again, as long as you're not. I've always said it, like, fuck it, go there, have a good time. Life is for living. Life is short.
Yeah.
Don't do it every weekend. You know, it's detrimental to your career and your mental health. But every now and again, fuck it, everyone deserves it.
Oh, it was so much fun. Like, I'll still talk about it. Like, that weekend was so fun. Between the bridge and then going to there, it's like so full on. I love it.
Yeah. And then where, like, with your career aspirations, like, where do you really want to get to? Do you want to go down producing? Do you want to go down DJing? Like, what's your, if you had to pick?
Couldn't pick one over the other. I started off as a DJ, and I think for me, I've always loved being on stage and just being able to create an energy. And I love feeding off people's energy in terms of, like, you know, even like just at a house party, 200 people, or on stage to 1,000 odd people, just being able to connect with people on that level and give them an experience where they're forgetting everything, and all that matters is just that moment. That's like something really special to me, you know, and being able to give that experience to people is where I sort of see it going. But in the career aspect, I mean, the producing does obviously
Would be even better if it was to your own track.
exactly right. So I mean, it goes hand in hand. I couldn't pick one over the other. So I mean, I'm getting to the point now where like the set I played at the bridge, there was a solid 45-hour section where it was just my own music back to back to back, which is
Oh, you have that much of your own music?
yeah.
Sorry, it's funny. Like most people would be like super prepared, but I actually like to be the complete opposite.
No,
I like the
good,
conversation to be really organic.
It's cool.
You
Yeah.
You did all this research and really prepared. And like, I'm not a reporter.
No, exactly right.
I don't want to be regimented with my questions. I
Yeah.
really like my organic reactions. That's cool. You got that much music.
Yeah.
What kind of genre are we talking about?
Most of the stuff I produce is melodic techno, melodic house. I like I said earlier, I'm loving this whole like, non-genre conformity thing. And it's good because I love producing everything, and you can't really, I hate being pigeonholed. Like, let me do whatever I want. It's whatever I feel the flavor is. I seem to tie it in my own sort of specific or niche. It's my own sort of sound. I mean, I released an EP 2 weeks ago, and the main track was deep minimal house, and then the second track was progressive melodic. But the way they tied in, it was sort of, you could tell that they were produced by me.
Yeah, Adam Holt just released a couple of new. He's actually pumping them out now. He did a couple of weeks ago. He must have been stockpiling them and now he's releasing them. And one of them is really cool. It always sounds like he's on a spacecraft, and then it's like goes right into like, I don't know. I'm not very good with genres at all. Like I wouldn't always on record or never pretend to be. Like I like the music. I know obviously the basics of techno, house, garage, and all that stuff, but that's about as far as my
as far as it should go. Yeah, there's all these subgenres. It's just genre gatekeeping and like people being all picky. It's an elitism. Forget about it. It's house, it's techno, it's garage. You're having a good time. And that's it.
Yeah, I like that. That would be a great snippet for a social media clip. So good.
I ruined it by going to Europe.
Yeah.
I went to Awakenings last year, and trying to go to a festival after doing a 3-day festival in Europe is coming back to an Australian festival is a bit of a drag. But
it's interesting that you say that, because obviously I'm English, spent a lot of time going to English festivals. I really like the festivals in Australia. I think they're so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like Pitch, Strawberry Fields, they are such a different vibe.
I haven't been to a festival like that before though. I haven't been to like a Dwarf festival.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And I'm happy to put it on record. I don't think that there's anyone that will get me there, as I won't ever go to an event at the Domain again.
Yeah, I've heard that like it just sound doesn't do well there.
The sound I think is horrendous, and no offense to anyone, I get it. It's just the location of it. It's not the gear. It's not this.
Yeah.
So it can all go a lot louder, and the police presence. It's like having the headmaster stood in the corner of the school.
Yeah.
Like it makes you feel uncomfortable, even when you're not doing anything wrong. And it's not the fact that they're there. Like one or two, yeah, fair enough.
Fine, yeah.
But there's fucking hundreds of them, and you're just watching there. It's like, why am I paying $200 on average? By the time you do there, get your Uber, have a drink in there, at least $200, $250, if not more, to feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like, nah. I went to a few events there last year, and Rufus was the only one that I can hand on heart say like I had a really good time at. Even Fred Again, I was just I went because it's Fred Again, but I was like, nah,
couldn't bring myself to going to the Rufus show at the Domain because I saw them live at Carriageworks a few years ago, and you can't top that. Carriageworks is an amazing venue.
I've never been.
It's
Hutch. Stop. Yeah,
it's amazing. In terms of like,
do they have a lot of events there? I don't feel like I ever see anything advertised at Carriageworks.
I think they've got Teletech is coming back. And
what is it, sorry?
Teletech.
Okay.
Have you heard of Teletech?
No.
It's hard techno.
They got hard techno is not for me now. Like I support all music and everything like that, and I would happily interview hard techno DJ. Going to hard techno events, no, thank you.
It's a big commitment, especially I've noticed that, especially at my age. I'm just like, my back hurts. You're on constantly, and it's fun, but I pick and choose. I like to, I know some of my mates are going to every single hard techno event, and just that's exhausting in itself.
I did a little bit of it at like 5 o'clock in the morning,
of course,
an hour or so. Like when you really, I do like it when it kind of progresses. But Pitch 2023, loved it. I heard music there that I've never heard before in my life. I found new genres, and that was a real eye-opening experience for me. pitch 2024. It was a lot of hard techno, and I was like, I didn't really vibe it. It wasn't.
Seems to be the trend, and I mean, it's cool. I respect all music genres, and I like most music, especially most music in electronic music. I'll dabble in it, you know. But yeah, I've noticed that like everything's just getting harder and faster, and the kids want it louder and faster.
Oh, Aussies love hardstyle. Like, no, thank you.
That's doing a massive comeback right now, because I remember hardstyle was a massive thing back in the DEF CON days, and I'm a Westie, so being from Western Sydney, like DEF CON was the thing, and hardstyle is like, you know, what we all grew up on. So
I just don't get it. Like, I feel for me, like, if my body or soul or whatever you want to fucking say doesn't pick up the music, I'm not a very good dancer anyway, but I can't dance. Like, I'm just there and I'm kind of like, oh, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know, like, I still haven't been to a hardstyle event. Like, even though I'm a Westie, I haven't been. I'd like to experience it though. So I saw, I think, Knockout.
Wild. So many people.
It looked amazing.
It's like 60,000 people for a one-day event.
It's got to be props to the HSU, because they're championing the festival scene in Australia. We're with that brand. We're known international in the hardstyle scene. We're known as an international destination just from their event. So it's, you know,
I can see that. Yeah,
to them, like their stage designs are on international level.
And that's what Dancewise said. They said the whole Australian music scene could crumble to the ground, to dust, to nothing, and HSU would still sell out the stadium. They're like, their brand is so strong. So
strong. It started off as a cult following,
and no offense, for me personally, doesn't sound good. Like, to a lot of other people, I'm not gonna dampen on anyone's parade, but for me personally, my ears don't like it.
Yeah, no, and that's fair enough. It's not for everyone. No one's expected to, you know, like everything.
Exactly. You can't like it all, right?
Exactly.
Otherwise, everyone would be really busy.
Yeah, exactly right. It's too many festivals. Yeah.
Are you going to any festivals, playing any festivals?
No, I've got no plans right now. I've been really just sort of staying focused on my own stuff at the moment. I've been really limiting my time going out and partying and, you know, trying to sort of focus as much time and energy into my brands. I've got a couple of event brands that I'm working on, and the production's been insane this year. Of dropping my 5th track next month just this year. So it's been really, really busy with my stuff. So trying to find the time, and, you know, like I said, at 29 years old, you know, I need like a week or two to recover from a festival. So I can't.
Oh, you're telling me what did you do for the long weekend?
Nothing.
I
don't think I did anything. Hey, I threw a house party on the Monday, but that was a pool.
Controversial Monday?
Yeah, it was like, I know that Mondays everyone's going to be, you know, pretty free. There's nothing. So we threw a day party.
A day party.
Yeah. It was at my mate's pool. Well, my mate Anton, he had his debut release on the Friday, and my EP also came out on that Friday as well. So we said, let's throw a house party to celebrate. So we had, like, I think 30, 40 of our mates.
Anton, does he play on Change We Need? Oh, am I thinking of someone else?
So Anton Yaz, he had his debut release.
Oh, Anton. No, I do know him.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Funny.
Yes.
I met him at People's Party.
That's right.
Through Aiden and Jake.
People's Party, which one? The festival out I played that one. At the festival out west. Yeah, I played that one out on the river stage. It was amazing. That was amazing. So yeah, so Anton's sort of part of that.
Okay, now I'm all confused.
It's all connections, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, Anton and I are like best mates. So we got connected last year, and him and I are basically on the same wavelength. We're just doing the same thing at the same time. So turns out, coincidentally, it was super unplanned. He had his debut release on the Friday before Long Weekend. My EP was coming out that same day. So we decided, let's throw a house party. We filmed the whole thing, set up the GoPros, had our mates there, and just made a thing out of it. So we have fun.
And is he all right? I saw on social media he's in hospital.
Yeah, he had appendicitis randomly. So he got his appendix out.
Fuck.
What was it, 2 days ago?
So I was surprised. Serious. Like,
he was chill about it. He was just a bit uncomfortable. He got it picked up early. So I think he was in and out of hospital within a day. We went and visited him last night, and I think he was still high on the meds. So he was having a good old time. So yeah, he
seemed better than he was.
Yeah, but he was fine. He's just like, oh, you know, it's fine, it's chill. He's like, I got the week off, so it's cool. So
yeah, nice. So that's funny. I see you guys know. I can't believe you were there. That's so weird.
Yeah, so yeah, I've been connected with Aiden and Anton and that whole crew. So
yeah, Aiden is like, just so is Jake, but Aiden is so fucking nice.
Yeah,
he will literally do anything for anyone.
100%.
Like, literally such a yeah, he deserves the world, that
Yeah.
guy. I haven't released anything yet, but it'll be released by the time this comes out.
Awesome.
I'm doing an event for my podcast first birthday on the
Amazing.
10th of November, and this will definitely be released by then. It's like, because I'm announcing everything next week, and he is the one that put me in touch with the venue, and I got like a really good opportunity and stuff like that.
Perfect.
So yeah, he's so fucking nice. Like,
Yeah, no, Aiden always has the time of day for everyone. So
yeah, so friendly. Like literally, I was nobody to him. Like we were there. Like so weird.
yeah,
So weird. That was why we did like a wrap up episode on it.
right.
So when did you play? Like on the Saturday?
Played on the Saturday on the river stage, so it was like late at night. So
Probably there. How
yeah,
good was that?
yeah,
There. This
I played a
set.
proper like cooked melodic set. It was awesome. I had a great time there. It's perfect.
Wow, we'll have to look after it. Like the set times. Like, so we probably were there as well.
From memory, I think it was like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. It was one of the second last sets.
Did you see the young kids that were doing the barbecue? I say young kids, they're like 18, 19.
Maybe.
They were so fucking funny. They like asked to go and they went and hired a barbecue.
I think, is that the same story where these kids, they heard the music in the distance, they rocked up and they said, what's going on? And they said, oh, we've got a music festival. Do you want to come? They're like, yeah, no worries. They went home, got changed into some outfits and then just randomly rocked up. So
I'm not sure if it was them, but I think they've been to one of their parties.
Right, okay, yeah.
And they got in touch and they went and hired like a barbecue or whatever. Got loads of sausages and stuff and just went.
I didn't know.
Yeah, they were doing the food. And they were also selling like single cigarettes. So funny, so funny. Love them. So we're coming to the end. Is there anything we haven't touched on? Do you want to talk a bit about your own event brand?
Of course, yeah. Happy to talk about the event brands. I got 2 event brands. One, which I'd say the closest to my heart, the Area Collective. We're championing
the Area
Collective. Like I said, born and bred Westie. We're championing the house and techno scene for Western Sydney. So we started off in lockdown, so 2020 or 2021. Western Sydney, like I said, has only been known for hardstyle and R&B. That's all the kids like out there. So when I said, hey, like, we got to build a scene with house and techno, this is what I live and breathe, and we don't have anything out in our area, especially when you could only go in your 5-kilometer area in lockdown. So I said, Stuffer, we're gonna just start throwing parties, and people are getting house and techno whether they like it or not. And we built this scene from nothing, and now I'm seeing all these kids in love with the techno scene, like going to all these different like they're going to raves, they're going to techno events, house events, and a lot of them started off just by coming to our events.
How many venues would you say if I wanted to go and see house or techno out west? Like how many different places would you say that you know of?
At the moment, nothing. So we had one venue, Whiskey Tango Bar, for a couple of years, and that was amazing. We're doing boiler room events there, and we had a couple of internationals pop through, which was amazing. But
boiler room style, you mean?
Boiler room, yeah, boiler room style, yeah. So we'd set up the decks in the middle of the venue, took out all this furniture, and just it was a big
That's
mess.
the best kind of event.
You know, it's just amazing. So we started off with that at this particular venue, and they sold to new owners, and then I took a bit of a break this year. So I've taken 6 months off. I just announced today the relaunch. We're relaunching at a new venue. I can't say it yet, but we're relaunching on the 1st of December, so just in time for summer.
Is that when will you announce it?
Probably in the next couple of weeks. So yeah,
it'll probably be out. But anyway,
maybe,
let's leave it.
So yeah, we're flipping that venue, doing a 2-stage sort of thing there.
Oh, fun! And where is it?
It's in an area called Canley Heights, so out Fairfield ways.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to be completely honest. It would take a lot to get me.
100%. Yeah.
But for people that are already out,
no, exactly right. We started off just doing house parties, just illegal parties on properties, and
best ways to be.
It grew super quick. So after our second event, we had 500 people rock up to our mate's house. Just like we threw this shed party on his farm, and from then I realized that we're way too big to keep doing the illegal stuff. So I branched out and I've thrown 2 boutique festivals where we did around about 700 people.
Oh wow!
Time.
I haven't been to like other than People's Party. Like I haven't been to like a boutique festival. I really want to go to is it called Secret Valley? It's like in Mudgee or something.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah, I want to go there next year. I think. Like
I don't think
because they're the ones that like for Pitch, for example, like it's always better when it's smaller. It gets bigger, more commercial, more rules, more police, more this, more that. They're always the best kind of vibe. And at the end of the day, when you're around a dance floor, even if you had 50 people, like it's still,
as long as the vibe's right, you can have 3 people there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, literally.
Party's a party.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've got a second one, which I focus more on my melodic and Afro house sound. It's more my personal brand. It's called curated by Daniel Tonik. Doing a little bit more of like chic type venues, rooftops. I have taken a break on it for the last couple of months because I've been so focused with the music and the touring lately. It's just been too crazy to throw events. But I will be relaunching soon, just in time for summer, on a rooftop, which I can't speak about that one yet. That's not fully locked in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm focusing more on like day parties.
Love a day party. The event I'm going to do for my podcast birthday, which again, I'm like, should I say or not?
Plug it. We're all going to this party.
Well, Factory Theatre, Enmore, 10th of November.
Perfect.
It'll be 1 year since I recorded my first episode. It's a back-to-back party. So all DJs that have been on the podcast are going to be going back-to-back with complete strangers.
That's insane. That's sick. I'll be there, 100%.
It's very excited.
Definitely.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you're coming.
Sunday sesh. I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know why we said that.
The day party.
Day parties, yeah.
Day parties are so much easier. You know that you're home in bed watching Netflix at midnight.
Yeah, and well, I don't know. You don't know me very well, but Sunday's a great day for it as well. And that's the year since I recorded my first episode. I have a Sunday sesh as well.
Right.
Okay, so the second brand is coming back soon. I can't imagine how hard it is trying to juggle multiple brands.
It's quite difficult. It is. That's why I've taken a break from both. Because I don't really have a team. I'm funding all the stuff. I'm doing all my marketing for both brands and my own music stuff. And like I said, I've just come off the back of like a pretty heavy touring schedule, and just with the music releases, I don't have time to do everything.
That's what I was going to ask. Where have you played? Where do you want to play? Have you played outside of Australia? Have you played outside of Sydney?
Yes, I played. I have a residency in Greece, in Mykonos. Yeah. That's pretty fun. It's nothing too major. Back in 2019, I had my first Euro trip with the boys, and
I feel like Justin told me a very similar story about a Greece trip and going there, and he played for 31 days straight.
Yeah, Justin did that. Yeah, I remember that. That was I think 2017. I think I remember. Yeah. So similar sort of thing. We went on a boys trip and we found this boat party really cheap. It was like €80 all inclusive. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Whereabouts?
In Mykonos, it was on a boat, just a boat party. So the boys said, well, why don't you just hit them up and see if you get a set? So I did, and I sent them a mixtape. And then from then, I said, I'm not going to expect pay because I'm overseas. I'm with my friends, whatever. So played the
Good fun though. Like,
just added to the resume. I played in Mykonos.
It breaks all the rules that we said about earlier.
100%. But I went on and played for a couple of hours, and I had all my friends around me, and they were just in awe. So they offered me a contract for residency. So I've held that since 2019. Wow. And I've been every year since, besides lockdown. This year
How many times do you play? Like, how long do you go there for?
I can pick and choose. So ideally they want me there for the whole season, the whole 3 months. But Mykonos is a place where, like, even if they cover like some bits of the accommodation, it's just not viable to live there for 3 months. Like, it's expensive.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't want to be pigeonholed as just stuck on this boat.
So they would pay you to play on the boat, but they're not going to cover like all expenses.
Exactly right. Yeah. So the offer was, if I came on board, they were going to. There was a reduced rate rent at their shared accommodation, but I don't think I could do shared accommodation with 20 workers for like 3 months.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I need my own space, and so
might have been good to do for a season or two when you're young. Yeah. As you get older.
So I just pick and choose my dates. So I tied it in. I went to Mykonos, I think, twice across 4 months last year. And so I just teed up the dates, said, yeah, I want to play this date. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I'll play the whole boat. So it's like a 5-hour cruise. I'll play the whole 5 hours and just curate the whole vibe, which is amazing. And so I played there, took a year off this year because I spent 4 months overseas last year. Just spent a lot of money. So had to recoup back in Sydney.
Yeah, we've done a big holiday every year for the last couple of years. And next year we're kind of like, we might just do 2 weeks. I've been to Bali loads of times, but I haven't been there for about 5-6 years. Do we just do a couple of weeks in Bali, maybe go to New Zealand? or do we go to Miami Music Weekend, or do we go to Burning Man, or do we go to ADE? Who knows what's going to happen? I'm like, who fucking knows? I'll probably go to all of them.
Yeah, 100%. I think ADE definitely is on the cards for me next year. So
yeah, I think it'd be cool. I fucking love Amsterdam. It's one of my favorite places.
Probably, yeah. I'd move there in a heartbeat, definitely.
Is there anything else you want to cover? Thank you so much for your time and coming all the way over here. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
It's always so much fun.
See you at the party.
And yeah, good luck.
10th of November, is it?
Yeah, 10th of November.
10th of November.
And good luck with Defected.
Thank you so much.